Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm disassembling the head. So I'm taking it apart, I've got it out of the car, taking it apart, taking all the rocker covers off, taking the rockers out, and disassembling part of it. There will be a part 2 to this, getting the valve springs and stuff out, but I'm trying to keep the videos kind of a bite size. Obviously I can do these in an hour long video, but I know a lot of people don't want to watch that long. They'd rather watch a couple little bite sizes and kind of watch the series as it goes. Also, I'm still only learning how to edit, so keeping the video short is making my life a little bit easier too. So lets me get the content out for you guys a little bit more consistently. So yeah, as I said, ripping the head apart, it's out. I'm getting it all down, ready to clean. And you can just see just how much gunk and crap that's sort of built up over the 25 years of 35 years of the car being used and being run, not anything being done to it. So yeah, hope you enjoy. If you have any questions about anything I'm doing, wanting more information or any more details about exactly what I'm doing step by step, I kind of threw this together as I went. Not really any sort of process or routine to how I was going to be doing these videos and recording this stuff. I would actually like to get an entire different head and strip it down and go through really detailed. So if there's anything you want, anything you want more information on or anything you want to know more about, feel free to drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and enjoy the video. So what I'm doing today, you would have seen from a lot of the other videos, is I've been tearing down the head or removing the head off the RB30 out of my Skyline, my R31 Skyline. So head's out, it's all ready to go. I have loosened these bolts off from the rocker arms whilst it was in the car, just because I knew they were going to be a little bit tight to torque off. So I'm going to be tearing it down, do a little bit of time lapse so you can see me doing it. I've got my 2 videos going, so hopefully you can kind of get both perspectives as I'm going. Everything's ready to go. So basically I'm going to strip it down. I'm giving the whole head a complete refresh. From what I've noticed taking this apart, it has not been touched in 35 years of the car in existence, so I'm pretty sure everything's all stock off the showroom floor. The amount of shit that I pulled out, grab one of the bolts to show you. So for those that don't know, RB30s have a, don't know where it's going to be easier to show you, have a little cab head, like a hex drive head in the for the head bolts. The amount of shit that I pulled out from in those was disgusting, and it wasn't just like gunk, it was solid crud. So these haven't been taken out, these haven't been touched in 35 years. It was 35 years of sludge built up in it. What that means is that sludge is all through here, and you can see, I don't know if you can see one of these ones, but I'll show you when I take it out. There's a lot of just crud and built and stain and just shit caked on the parts in the head, around the rocker arms and the assemblies. Which means all of the hydraulic lifters in there have that shit in it as well. The little channels and the journals in the hydro lifters would have all that crap in them. It means the lifters are going to be noisy, they're not going to be working the way they should be. I may be taking lifters apart. I'm going to see what they're like, see how much crap's in them. If I can clean them without dismantling them, I will. And I'll just refresh the oil in them, purge them, and bleed them back in the car. So I have loosened these off. They're just, again, 35 years of shit built up on them. They're a little bit sticky. Should be able to undo these all by hand now. For those that haven't worked on heads before or worked on engines before, a big key point and probably the biggest tip I can give to you, keep everything in order. There is nothing worse. So the other thing, these things are worn in from the factory. You pair up. So your valves, your valve seats, your lifters, your rockers, everything's kind of paired up together in some way, shape or form. You want to keep everything as close to or as paired up as you possibly can. I'm a little bit anally retentive when it comes to this sort of stuff. Even sort of the bolts for the manifold on the outside, intake and exhaust manifold, I'll number the bolts. You possibly saw in a previous post on my socials, I've actually taken a photo of the side of the head, both sides of the head, numbered it, gotten an egg carton I've got up there of 30, was it 3 dozen eggs or whatever? It's 30 egg carton that I've then numbered in the bottom of them, 1 to 30. Number the bolts on the side of the engine, or the side of the head, 1 to 30, and place them all in their numbers so I can put even the exhaust and intake bolts all back in the same spot. I don't know if you noticed on that head bolt that I pulled out before to show you, there's a bit of tape on it. They're all numbered depending on their location on the head. The head bolts have all got a certain numbered order that you need to remove and install them. I've numbered them all according to that, so they're going to go back in exactly the same spot. What I plan on doing is have this table set up. Just in front of the camera here, I have some rags and stuff. I can probably see it in this camera here. There's some rags and shit all set up there. This is all going to live there as I work on it. So the head itself is fine. That'll go into a bucket. It'll get cleaned and scrubbed and soaked and made to look all pretty. All these bolts and stuff, I will literally clean them individually, just so I will clean them individually just so I know which one goes back to which number. There's no confusion, nothing gets mixed up, nothing gets confused. Everything goes back where it's supposed to. So, case in point, this whole thing's going to come off and sit up the back here by itself. Bolts and stuff all still included. This one as well. Front two. One. Two. Those are off. Let's have a look. How much wear and tear have we got on those? They're looking pretty clean. There's not really big score marks. Ultimately, the wear and tear of the engine actually looks really good. Like, it hasn't been a huge amount of use. The issue is that just the years of crap. This was a country car for several years. A lot of dirty air, a lot of dusty air has all been getting through. There's actually no real bad scoring mark rating on top of the lifters, which is really, really positive. You should be able to. So I've never worked on this before, so done a lot of YouTube research. So YouTube identification. I'm gonna have to take it all out. Cool. So should be able to remove love the gunky, sticky. Feel it wants to go, but it's just all sticky. There you go, lifters. So let's sit lifters where they belong. That one out. Again, everything's going to sit where it belongs. Nothing's getting out of place. Nothing's getting left. Everything is going to sit where it belongs. Even the lifters and stuff all go back in exactly the same spot. I want nothing back out of place. If it wants to fall quickly, lifters are all in the right place. But there is a lot of, oh man, there's a lot of gunk. There's so much just old oils in here. It's disgusting. Just, ugh. So obviously if that shit's all in there, nothing's going to operate very neatly, to be fair. Looking at the cam itself, really clean. A little bit of wear on the top of that lug there. No mad flat spots, scoring, nothing really offensive in there. Looking really neat, that's really encouraging. Now these lifters, it's hard to see on camera, but yeah, they've got probably see ahead of it, there's a very, very tiny little hole. There's a little channel inside there with a little hole in it as well. They're obviously going to clog up with any sort of little bits of gunk and grime and stuff over these. It's just going to build up. If it's building up in the top of that massive hole in the head bolt, it's going to build up in a little hole like that, even though the oil's flowing through it as you're driving, or as the car's operating. The oil's going to build up in there. So the crap's going to build up in there. So it's going to end up just clogging and just going feral. Now I shouldn't be able to. Oh man, that's tight as shit. Damn, it's still really healthy. Okay, that's... I'm expecting there to be a whole bunch of slack in that. Sign of a worn lifter is you can't push it down, or you can push it down, so it's got a lot of movement. They're not fucking budging at all. Okay, may not even have to rebuild them, to be honest. So there we go. I'll purge them, obviously sit them in oil. I'll sit them in oil now just so they're not sitting out in the air. I'll get some clean oil and sit them in there. But that's... this engine surprises me, I tell you. Okay, so next option. Let's get the cam out. Again, I've undone, there's a couple of screws at the front, a couple of bolts, sorry, at the front of the cam. Show ya. There's 4 little bolts at the front there. Again, I loosened those whilst it was in the car, just knowing that it wasn't going to be easy to do after the fact. So they have been loosened. We have one nice little clean RB cam. Again, this has tiny little, you can be able to see it in here probably. It's tiny little oil journals all the way in here. Little holes in the runners in the bearings to keep everything lubricated. All that crud floating around in there is clogging those up. May not be a huge amount, but again, it all adds up. Everything will have a compounding effect. That was the word I was trying to think of. Everything's got a bit of a compounding effect. So if you're got a small issue at low RPM, you try and rev that engine out, it's going to turn into a fucking big issue very quickly. You're going to have not happy days. Okay, so those bolts are back in, so I know where they've come from. That's only going to go in one way because of the dowels and the shape of it. It's got a very odd shaped front, so it's only going to mate up one way, which is fine. So next job is taking the springs and valves out. So once that's out, the head's pretty much stripped down, and then I can start cleaning it and we'll get all the shit out of it.